Hello friends, this video on the fundamental unit of life, part 1 is brought to you by examfear.com. No more fear from exam. Topics to be covered in this lesson are Introduction to Cell, Discovery of Cell, Unicellular versus multicellular organisms, Structure of Cell, Plasma membrane, Cell wall, Nucleus, Cytoplasm, Cell organelles, and plant cell versus animal cell. So let us first introduce cell. What is a cell? So when this word cell comes to our mind, what are the things that comes to our mind? The first thing these days which come to our mind is the cell phone which we use. Sometimes you think of the battery which you use because that is also a cell. That is what we call the battery as. But here in biology, what is cell? So in biology, we have cell as the building block of all living organisms, right? Because in bio, we will study about all living beings, all living organisms, whether plants, animals, everything, right? So here, when I talk of a cell, what does the cell mean? Cell is the building block of all living organisms. That means each and every living organism is made up of cell, building block, right? What do I mean by building block exactly? Let us try to understand with this example. When you look at a building, so what are the building blocks of this house? So when I talk of the building blocks, that means the blocks which builds this house, right? So what are they? They are nothing but the bricks, correct? So when you join all the bricks together, so all the bricks are all identical to each other. So when you join or when you construct all these bricks in a specific pattern, you are able to make a building, right? So we can say that the brick is the building block of this house, right? So in a very similar manner, every living organism, be it human being, maybe I, you, or whoever it is, all of us are made up of cells. That means even inside our body, we have smaller identical units which are present everywhere in the body, and each such unit is known as a cell. So it is exactly similar to the example of bricks and house, right? Like for example, a house has so many identical bricks, but that doesn't mean that all different houses look similar. For example, your house and your neighbor's house look different. However, both of them are made up of bricks. So the building block is the same, but even then, depending upon how the building blocks are arranged, you are able to construct two different types of houses. So in a very similar fashion, each and every living organism is made up of cells, whether it is human beings or it is dolphins, or I talk of animals like elephants, or the birds which are flying high in the sky, or the plants. So when I say living organisms, I'm including everything, right? So all living organisms are made up of cells. So in this lesson, we are going to study about cell. We are going to study about what is a cell, what are the different properties of cell, how are they arranged, what are the different, we will basically concentrate on the structure of a cell. What does a cell consist of? What are the function of each part of the cell? So as we go ahead, we will gradually talk about everything, right? So now let us start from the very beginning. So how and when was the cell discovered? How did people come to know that every living organism is made up of cell? Quite interesting, right? So let us see who and when discovered cell for the first time. So it was a scientist named Robert Hooke in 1665 discovered cell. So again, there is a story behind this as well. Well, what happened was that somewhere around 1661, there lived a king named King Charles II in England. So the king ordered one of the scientists of that time named Sir Christopher Wren to make a series of microscopical studies, because you can imagine in the 1600s, that time there was not much of knowledge. Science was not that developed and all. Things were all in the stage of research and all. In fact, there were very few scientists also who were like actively doing or finding out something. So this king ordered the scientist named Christopher Wren to make a series of microscopical studies. That means he wanted him to observe objects with the help of microscope and give a detailed description of those objects, because when you look at an object with the help of a microscope, you can have a better look, or you can have a detailed look of the structure of that object. But this scientist named Christopher Wren did not have much time. So what did he do? He handed over this work to an upcoming scientist of that time named Robert Hooke. So this Robert Hooke at that time was just 26 years old. So he was quite young scientist. And normally it happens, right? Somebody who is already a renowned scientist, he will have his own values and he will have his own this thing, right? The ego and all. But somebody who is an upcoming scientist, I mean, whatever work is given to him, he generally accepts the work and goes ahead with it. Now, this guy, Robert Hooke, had a lot of interest about it. So he designed a microscope on his own. It was a self-designed microscope. He constructed the microscope, he adjusted the magnification and everything of the microscope on his own, and he used his self-designed microscope to observe objects, right? So Hooke made use of his technical efforts. He put in his technical efforts to design the microscope, and also out of his own interest, he observed various different objects. So this king was more emphasized on observing insects. He asked the scientist to observe mostly insects and give a microscopic studies of them. But since Hooke was very much interested in it, he started observing various objects, right? So he observed various objects with the help of his self-designed microscope, which has a better magnification and a better efficiency to see things, right? Now, while doing all these studies, I mean, he used to see many different things, maybe whatever objects he had around him, he used to observe that objects with the help of microscope. Now, doing all these things, suddenly what happened once was that he took a cork. You know, cork is related to a bottle. I mean, when you have a bottle, the lid of the bottle in this form, as you can see in the picture, this is a cork. This thing is a cork. So a cork looks somewhat like this. So this cork is actually made from the bark of a living tree. So the bark of a tree is used to make this cork. Now, while observing so many different objects, he observed this cork as well, not the entire cork. He took a thin slice of the cork, and then this thin cutting of the cork was observed under his microscope. Now, what happened on viewing this thin cutting of the cork? He discovered empty spaces contained by walls. That means he observed a structure like this. He took a thin cutting of this cork, and when he observed it with the help of this microscope, he observed some structure like this. He observed some empty spaces which is enclosed by walls. By looking at this structure, I mean, when he saw the structure, it resembled the honeycomb structure. You know honeycomb, right? The honeybees will make their nest-like structure, that is called honeycomb. So it looked like that honeycomb structure. Now, in one of the books written by Robert Hooke, we get a picture of how exactly it looked at that time. So see, this is the real picture. I mean, this is how actually it looked at that time. So it is printed in one of his very famous books. So this kind of structure was observed. So you can see empty spaces enclosed by walls, something like this: empty spaces enclosed by walls, empty spaces enclosed by walls, and so on, right? So these empty spaces were termed as cells by Robert Hooke. So Robert Hooke was the first one to give this term or to coin the term cell. However, Robert Hooke was not much aware of the structure of cell or the composition of a cell or the function of a cell. He was not much aware of all these things. But the only thing which he did was he discovered that an object is made up of some empty spaces, and these empty spaces are called as cells. So he became more famous because he gave a term cell, which later became very important, because later scientists started thinking over it. Okay, fine, if it consists of these cells, what are these cells actually? So scientists put a lot of efforts to understand the structure, the composition, the function of cell, right? Now, what does this term cell means? Actually, cell is a Latin term which means small rooms. So, since the structure look like this, like small rooms enclosed by walls, so that's why he called them cells. Now, later on, gradually many...
Thank you. Please visit examfear.com to watch free educational videos, try free online tests, get the best quality study materials, study from the best tutors and mentors, and much more. Thank you once again.